Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Okay, and this time, about a week or so ago, I did an episode on a stack of classic science fiction comics, and this was one of them. And it had been quite some time since I'd read it, so I wanted to go delve in and read it and do a whole episode on it. And then there's one other from that stack that I want to do later. And this particular book is from Gold Key Comics. 1963's Steve Zodiac and the Fireball XL5. Says a lifeless planet becomes the nerve center of an invasion force headed for Earth. Very melodramatic. Yeah. Also last week I did an episode on Gold Key's Boris Karloff mysteries, and I was talking about the cover painting, how the I can see here another beautiful cover painting by George Wilson, and I commented on how the two faces on that were obviously modeled by actor Steve Holland, and I talked a little bit about him. Steve Holland, of course, was an actor and model, and he played Flash Gordon in the short-lived 1950s Flash Gordon TV series. And then he had a long career as an artist's model in New York. And his face, and he's of course his face is best remembered as the face of Doc Savage, as done by George Bama on Doc Savage novels. But he was on a whole bunch of different kinds of books. And I commented on that that I don't think I'd ever seen his face on the cover of a comic book before. And then after that, and I was going through the stuff and I saw this, and there he is again. Yep. And when I was doing research online, it confirmed that is definitely Steve Holland's face right there as Steve Zodiac. So yeah, and of course this is Steve Zodiac, my version, and Dr. Venus. She's a space doctor, with from his ship with Robert the Robot. Again, here's my version of both of them, and I didn't do Dr. Matt Maddox, the scientist and engineer on the ship. Yeah, Matt Maddox. So see, the name exists, but I always loved the name Steve Zodiac. I thought that was so cool. It is cool, and even the whole title Fireball XL5 is cool. Now, for those of you, while I'm rambling, this is Steve Zodiac and Fireball XL5. It's a one-shot from Gold Key Comics from 1963, and I wanted to mention this. Kind of sort of fits in with Michael K. Vaughn's, who's a booktuber on YouTube, and he's have his here through the month of July having his reading. Whether it's his or someone else started it, I don't know, but I heard it on his. Reading. Not challenge. Anyway, reading event on BookTube called Rocket Summer, in which they're reading some classic science fiction books and stories. So this kind of fits in. This definitely fits into the classic that they set up for before 1970. And Fireball XL5 was a children's science fiction marionette TV series from British producers Gerry and Sylvia Anderson in the early 60s. This was my introduction to science fiction. I was real young, and also space rockets and robots, and so I loved all of that. It was inspired by the space race going on between the U.S. and USSR at the time, and I really remember that too. That prompted a lot of science fiction in all media. And the show revolved around the missions of the Fireball XL5, which is a spaceship of the World Space Patrol, as a police force patrolling the cosmos in 2062. I laugh at that. I kind of laugh at that. That's only about actually now 38 years away. 38, hard to believe. It's closer to that time period than the time period that this was produced. And the ship was commanded by Steve Zodiac, and it defends the Earth from alien and interstellar menaces. And the technique of production was dubbed Supermarrionation by the production company, which was AP Films. And this was their final black and white show. I guess they'd had some other programs before, I don't know about it. It was the only Anderson show bought by a U.S. television network for the U.S. audience, which is why I got to see it, and I never got to see any of the other shows, because all the others were syndicated shows, and we just didn't get syndication where I grew up. And it had stuff such as Supercar, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, and I never got to see. I still don't think I've ever seen Supercar, but Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet I have seen a little bit since in my adult life. Was it Me TV? I can't remember what state cable station it is. Has been off and on running some of the Thunderbird stuff. Okay, and the miniature filming techniques were later used by the Andersons on UFO and Space 1999 live-action TV series, as well as the theatrical film that they produced of Journey to the Far Side of the Sun. And that was about 68, 69, something like that. Okay, and this, when I talked about this book before, I was incorrect on one thing. I said it was written by Peter Milligan and art by Alberto Fauci. Well, I was incorrect. Apparently, they were the creators for the British comic of Fireball XL5, which I'd love to get hold of. But this version was written by Paul S. Newman and drawn by Mel Crawford. And Mel Crawford also did a lot of illustration work for Little Golden Books, which was a subsidiary of Western Publishing, the owners of Gold Key Comics. Ooh, and I've babbled way too long so far on this background stuff. So let's take a look inside. And take a look. And oh yeah, and the pin up on the back cover without the masthead. So that stuff is really nice. George Wilson. I wonder if he had used a model for the lady too. He probably did. I don't know who she would have been. Anyway, it started out. And of course, as they did with many things, had some educational stuff in here. Here's a little thing about astronomy. Is there something on the inside back cover? Yeah, something about fish. A lot of the Gold Key stuff had educational filler pages that they often used. Okay, this is the Moon Masters, and this is the commander at Space Patrol contacting Steve Zodiac on the Fireball XL5. It says there's something going on, and the moon is coming, descending, coming closer to the Earth, causing all kinds of, wreaking all kinds of havoc, tidal waves and earthquakes and all stuff that one might expect. And he said, but it's, and told it's seems to be done by some kind of beam, and he tells them where this beam is coming from. So here they are, and there's Robert, who is the co-pilot Steve Zodiac is the commander and pilot, and Robert is basically the automatic pilot. And here they're discussing the mission as they're on their way to this Planet 42. Don't know where that is, but they're going. There's a really good image of this ship Fireball XL5. And remember seeing this, various other comic stories drawn by this fellow Crawford. Okay, then they approach and they check the planet out. It looks like it's all volcanic, and it looks like there's no life, but they find where the beam is coming from this one crater, and they discover that by accidentally passing through the beam, and it disrupts their flight. And they get on their jetmobiles, which are little flying motorcycles, and Steve and Venus go to check it out, and they see something happening. The pool in the seemingly dormant volcano opens up like the parting of the Red Sea in the movie The Ten Commandments, and out comes these potato-headed aliens. They spot them, and they start zapping at them. They play possum, pretend that they've been zapped and stunned. So these aliens take them down through that opening down to their subterranean city. So get them down there, and we hear the aliens all thinking that they're unconscious, talking about taking this, decimating the Earth, and trying to force everyone to leave Earth so that they can take over the planet and take its resources. So then Steve stops playing possum, starts playing action hero. And zap, zap, zap. There goes to the control room of that beam, but it's shielded. He can't get in. Then he is actually zapped with a stun gun, but they're basically paralyzed and just can't move. But he is conscious. And Venus comes to, and she gets zapped as well, right next to each other, and she's able to. But she was in the process of sending a radio message back to the ship. And so she's able to key it, and Steve sends a message to Dr. Matt Maddox. They have spawned a plan. So there he is on his jetmobile. He's zipping through, and the aliens come out, capture him. But while it's open, Robert, the robot, from hiding, tosses a grenade of some kind down into that crevice, which lands in there, and boom, it goes off. And it's something that destroys nitrogen. These beings live on nitrogen, not oxygen. And starts destroying the nitrogen in the atmosphere in that enclosed environment. And they pass out. He finds and restores Steve and Venus, and together they destroy the beam. Woo! And then they fight their way out until it goes kablooey, and they're safe, and the Earth is safe, and all is well. And the second one, I'll just talk a little more briefly here. It's a very, as I said, it's a very cartoonish style, but it's after the first few panels, you kind of get into it, and it kind of reflects the general feeling of a show featuring marionettes instead of people, and it has good. It's well drafted, draftsmanship done very well, and well drawn, and good visual storytelling. And here on the second one, Trail of the Traitor. Someone breaks into the space patrol in the middle of the night, and whoever it is, and they wind up stealing some secret information, and on a spool of tape or film, and steals the ship XL4. And of course, they can track where it's going, and contact Steve Zodiac of the Fireball XL5, and they try to intercept the ship, and they launch an attack because it's better that it's destroyed than getting into the hands of some alien menace or something. And but the ships are too evenly matched, and they're able to counter the moves of the other. So, and in fact, XL5 is slightly damaged in the encounter, and so then here's something that was always exciting: when the ship breaks apart, the nose cone is the command module, and they take off because it flies under its own power, and it takes off, leaving the rest of the ship behind with Robert and Dr. Matt Maddox to repair the ship. They're able to get it down to one of the moons of Saturn and effect repairs while they goes after XL4 and sees it meeting up with an alien ship, and the alien ship takes off. So they board the XL4 and find the guy who was the thief right there, but he's been injured. Oh, they double-crossed him. These aliens double-crossed him. And he stops him from getting his gun. So, yes, now I'll settle scores with them. They are from planet 23, Beta Galaxy. Let me see if I can help. I'm a doctor. But as Venus takes the traitor's hand, too late. Get up. Let's get out of here fast, Venus, or it'll be too late for us. They hustle out of the ship back to their own just in time as kablooey! The XL4 blows up because, as Steve suspected, that it had been booby-trapped. But they get back, reconnect with XL5, which has been repaired, and take out after the aliens, and they can't destroy them. But Dr. Matt Maddox has an idea, and he focuses a heat ray that he had recently developed on the ship, and it says, and it makes the interior of the ship very, very hot, without doing any damage. And they say, let the fools try to roast us. We're used to heat. It can't affect us, and we have their precious tape. But then, pretty soon, when it gets to a certain temperature, they just take off and let them go. Well, of course, find out that the deal was that he got the temperature inside the alien ship so hot that didn't affect the aliens, but it was hot enough to destroy that tape. So they got away with nothing. Dun dun dun! Ha! All is. They may have got away, but they did not get the secret information that they wanted, so that they could later invade the Earth. So that's all I've got for you this time with Steve Zodiac and the Fireball XL5. Oh, that's a lot of very nostalgic fun, I tell you, because I loved that show as a kid. So, let me know what you think of Steve Zodiac and the Fireball XL5. Have you ever seen this show? Some of the episodes are available on YouTube. Mostly in black and white, I think. Some have been colorized, I think. But I used to have a couple of VHS videotapes featuring several episodes of Fireball XL5, but don't have VCRs anymore, so got rid of those tapes. And it's probably also available on DVD. But if you're at all interested, I suggest you at least check out Fireball XL5. And it had a very popular theme song, the Fireball. I don't have a copy. And there are many versions of that on YouTube as well. And even if you're not interested in watching the show, I suggest you at least check out that theme song, which even had, while it wasn't a hit, it was popular on vinyl in the UK at that time. So, thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do leave your comments down below. And remember, comics are art.